Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Patek Philippe Calatrava, reference 6000G-001. You can see this 37mm 18-karat white gold Patek Philippe on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time to see our full listing for this watch, with additional accessories included, high-resolution images, and naturally complete pricing information. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, the 2005 to 2007 variant of the 6000G that you see right here is a superb fit. 37mm across the round of the case, not including the crown. It's also delightfully slim thanks to the micro rotor automatic movement, only 9mm thick, and you can see there's a generously domed bezel to this watch that allows a dress cuff, a tight sleeve of any kind to easily ride up and over the flank of the case. Now from lug to lug it's quite reasonable and compact. 46.5mm from extremity to extremity. This watch is the image of traditional dress watch elegance and proportion. What is not completely traditional is the dial design, and we'll get to that in a moment because it's what really set the 6000 apart from the rest of its Calatrava brethren. Now the lugs are conventional, the spring bars are straight, and you can see the Patek Philippe does use its customary pull tab spring bars, so you can easily pull the tab and remove the strap without resorting to a screwdriver or a jeweler's tool that could mar the white gold lugs. Also, it's something that you can do easily at home by yourself without resorting to a jeweler. But the strap itself is impressively bolstered. It's a rectangular scale alligator, black with a monotone stitch. There's quite a bit of bolstering for such a thin watch. The strap really does swell to meet the lug form, so in profile, it's aesthetically congruous, very fluid, floating from the strap to the lugs to the case, and it has an all-of-a-piece look to it despite the lack of conforming spring bars. Now the clasp is a high-grade piece made by Patek Philippe, entirely white gold to match the case. It's an elegant and minimalist clasp such that the buckle itself looks like a traditional pin buckle when the watch is sized and closed. But it is that dial that I mentioned that really set the 6000 apart. Now it looks like the dashboard instrument of a vintage Porsche, Jaguar, or Mercedes-Benz. You can see that there's a lot going on, and that's one of the reasons that this is considered to be almost a love-hate piece within the Patek Philippe Calatrava catalog. Because it is so non-traditional in its design, it tends to appeal to those who are a bit more progressive, those who have a more avant-garde sensibility, those who aren't always afraid to slay some sacred cows. You can see outboard there is a radial date, inboard an hour track, and then inboard of that there is a minute track with an off-center sub-seconds. Now the watch changed in 2008, going from an all matte black dial like the one you see here to a anthracite sunburst design. This matte black with all white print has a distinctly different look than the watch that succeeded it. That watch features a metallic minute track inboard of the hours. It features a metallic second subdial, and of course anthracite throughout. This watch feels a little more all of a piece, like the original design vision was just a bit more cohesive than the watch that succeeded it. Now you can see that it does have dramatically strong, stretched lugs. There's a lot of tension in this case that's just a little bit more severe than the customary Calatrava design, which tends to be a little bit more fluid and blended. This watch really does seem almost as if it were drawn from a molten piece of white gold. And on the case back, the aesthetic drama continues. As these watches were built exclusively between 2005 and 2007, all of them feature the caliber 240 with calendar and petite seconde, so 240 CPS as Patek would call it, featuring the Geneva hallmark, which you can see to good effect right here next to my thumb. It's the older signage, obviously since June 2009. All Patek Philippe watches have been signed with the Patek Philippe seal. This is a little bit more traditional, a bit more romantic. Neither one is really better or worse than the other, but if you're a traditionalist, as opposed to the aesthetic progressive sensibility that favors the actual look of the watch, if you're a mechanical traditionalist and a craftsmanship traditionalist, then maybe the Geneva seal has a little bit more emotional appeal to you. Naturally, there is a beautiful micro rotor inset. The entire caliber is less than 3.5mm thick, and for those who are perhaps learning the Patek Philippe Calatrava family, most of the automatic Calatravas, short of the perpetual calendars, tend to feature the caliber 324 central rotor automatic. The 240 traditionally has been an upscale caliber reserved for special watches and complications, so to see it in a watch with nothing more than a small second subdial and a jump date, it's a little bit of a special occasion application of this movement. Now, the movement itself is beautifully rendered. Automatic micro rotor, 27 joules, a power reserve on average of 45 hours. It does feature a 21,600 vibration per hour beat rate and Patek Philippe's signature free-sprung Gyromax balance, which you can see to good effect. There's gorgeous Côte de Genève across the bridges, and you can see them quite well from this angle. A tight and even perlage engine turning across the base plate. All of the edges of the bridges and the balance cock are beautifully mirrored and rounded by hand, and all of the screw heads are polished and their slots chamfered. This is as good as it gets. This is why Patek Philippe screws cost 20 Swiss francs a piece. If you want a watch that's a little bit different and yet part of the family of absolute horological aristocracy, a true Patek Philippe, albeit one whose design conventions go beyond the norm, take a walk on the wild side, but don't compromise quality. See this Patek Philippe Calatrava 6000G on our website, watchyouwant.com.